K and welcome to Miss K on Postal. So today I come to tell you guys how to bid on bids if you are a career employee or if you just became a career employee and you're not quite too sure how to go ahead and bid. Now, before you became a career employee, you were probably a PSC or MHA and maybe in some cases a PTF, wherever you may or may not be. If you was a MHA or a PSC, you didn't have a bid, you pretty much just had a schedule that you adhere to that may have changed from week to week or maybe month to month, and you came into work and that's what you did with your set NS days that they gave you whenever they made the schedule. Now, once you become a career employee, congratulations if that happened, then you are able to bid, meaning that you have a particular bid that is yours and that you get to keep unless you want to go ahead and bid out and get a new bid. Now, if you just got converted and you were assigned a bid because at that point in time they may or may not have a bid available, they made you unassigned, which in many places they don't really like to do unassigned bids because they don't want you to be not having a bid at all. They want you to have an assigned bid. But if you had an unassigned bid, you have a certain period of time where you have to bid and find a bid. Now, if you were converted and they gave you a bid and based on whatever number you were, if you were 1 or 2 or 3, and you got something that you didn't want because you may be 4, 5, or 6, depending on how many of you all guys got converted at the same time, you are able to bid. You have to wait till after, I think it's between 2 to 4 weeks after you become a career employee when the new bidding cycle opens, and depending on your craft, if you are a mail handler or if you are a clerk, they'll put on the wall, usually wherever your union posts the information, your bidding schedule. So there's a bidding schedule for mail handlers and a bidding schedule for clerks. It's a certain time of the month where it will open and it will close, where you can go ahead and bid before the close date. Then it's awarded, then it's another cycle you wait, and then you can bid again if you didn't get to catch the last cycle. And this goes until almost the end of the year. It usually ends. Bidding is blocked during the peak season because the post office does not allow bidding during the peak season because they don't want movement, okay? So now, let's say you got converted, you got a bid, you're not happy with it, it's on a time or a day, or it's not even where you want to be working, but you're stuck. So you're going to go look and see when your next bidding cycle is, if you're a mail handler or a clerk, and you're going to look and see when that cycle is open, and when it comes open, your plant or your station will post up the bids for your craft that will come open on the next cycle. It should be for all tours, tour 1, tour 2, tour 3, and it will have where the bid is located, and it will also have the days that you will work. It'll also show your NS days, and it will show your time. Now, for a lot of you guys, it's kind of hard because each particular station plant, we have different locations, different names, but it's for the same stuff. So some places may say FSS, some people may say, flat sorter, AFSM. You're going to look at those particular acronyms when you're looking at your bids because you want to see exactly where you're working. Is it a bundle sorter? Is it the FSS? Is it the AFSM? Wherever it's located, if it's the platform, if you are a clerk, is it going to be window service? Is it going to be automation? Is it going to be bundle sorter, but bundle sorter where clerks work at the top because they're going to do keying in of mail if they have that at your particular location, or if it's going to be an express, it could be in different places. So look and see exactly where that bid is. If you are not certain, either ask an old timer, ask somebody who's already in the bid that you may know on the floor, or ask your union and they'll tell you exactly what the acronyms mean. So it'll tell you the tour and it'll tell you the time. Of course, being in the post office, everything's on military time. So if you don't know how to read that shit by now on the times, I don't know enough that can tell your ass, okay? Like really, set your watch, your clock to military time. Now, here's a key on when you're going to do a bid. I know for myself, when I got converted, they gave me a shitty time and mama didn't want it. But it was nothing I could do. So I took that shitty time and that, it wasn't a shitty bid, it was an okay bid. I still was working where I was working before I got converted, but the time was shitty. And the days off, your NS days, your non-scheduled days, they were shitty. So I had to sit and bide my time until a bid came open. And when a bid came open, I went ahead and bid it. So what you want to look at, seriously, depending on how many people are located in your certain location. If you're in a plant, if you're at a station. If you're in a plant, of course, there's going to be far more people. And if you just got recently converted, then baby, you at the bottom. You got the junior to the juniors to the junior to the junior people. So look at the area that you're trying to bid in. How many senior people are there? How many junior people are there? And also, where are you in the standing as far as your seniority in bidding? Remember, when you bid, it ain't because you the first come, first serve. Nah, man, that's not how it works. It's based on your seniority. So if you bid and I bid for the same bid, but my seniority is higher, even if you bid it before me and I waited to the very last fucking day to bid and I'm the senior person, I'm going to get that bid. You will not because you're junior. So when you're looking at a bid and you're looking to bid, choose more than one. Choose, and when you go into your light blue and you go into bid, it will ask if you have a first choice or a second choice or whatever. Which bid you want first, which bid you want second. So I suggest that when you're bidding and you're new to bidding and you haven't bidded before and you're just maybe trying to get out of maybe the time that you're in, maybe the location that you're at, try to bid on something that you think nobody else would want, but the time that you may want is available. Don't be fucking concerned about the NS days. Baby, you may not get Saturday and Sunday. So bid on something that falls around the time that you want. Maybe you need a 3:30 and you were coming in at 7. Maybe you're trying to get on tour 2. And I know at my location, baby, tour 2 hard to get on because some old timers be holding that bitch like this. They don't be wanting to let go. You know, maybe you want a morning bid. Maybe you want to come in nights. Maybe you're a tour 1 person and you got stuck on tour 3 and you really don't want to come in at 1 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're fine with coming in at 11. It all depends on what you're looking for. So when you're bidding, always bid on what will suit you best as far as your time. You may have kids. You may have to pick them up from school. Maybe you need to do some things in the morning. Maybe you have a second job and you want to come in the afternoon. Choose your times wisely. Don't fucking worry about where's that and your NS days. Worry about the time first since you are new to bidding. Now, if you see a bid with the time that you want and then the location is decent, then pull that. Now, your days off, you may not like the days off. That's fine because remember, every bidding cycle, you can rebid. You are only allowed, allegedly, because I've seen people bid more than 3 times. Supposedly 3 times or, once per cycle or whatever. That's foolishness. I've seen people bid every single damn cycle and will move around. Don't be one of them people. Find you a bid that works for you. Once you get a bid that works for you, you may not want to bid out unless you have other extenuating circumstances that require for you to bid out. A lot of people will bid out to change their time because they have a sick mom or a sick husband or a sick child and they really don't want to use all their time on their FMLA. And you crazy if you don't use your FMLA, but that's neither here nor there. But, or maybe you got a second job and you're trying to raise some extra money and the time is not working. You are going to bid according to what works best for you. Not because your ace boom coon coming into that time. That ain't always the case. Bid on what works best for you. Now, once you've established your time, once you've established that maybe this is the location you want to work, then look at your NS days, okay? Since you're new to bidding, don't be trying to get these prime days. Now, not saying you can't, because depending on where the bid is and the time, you might get some prime NS days off. Now, this is in reverse. If you don't care about the time, because you don't give a shit what time you come in, you'll make it work. You just need particular days off because maybe you need those days for whatever reason that's personal outside of the post office. Then bid on the days you want off. Frig the times and maybe frig the location. As long as you get what you want initially, that can work for you. Remember, baby, to bid is not checkers, it's chess. You have to think 2 moves ahead because it may seem fine for now, but something may come up and it may not work for you. So you may need to get out of it or you may need to adapt. You may not want to work in a particular location because of what they do, but you like the days off and you like the time. Baby, you got to figure out what it is that you want, right? All right, so once you get that together and you see the list of bids available and you're thinking, okay, there are like 7 bids, I want to bid on 3 of them, they look interesting, I like the times, I like the days off, and I like the location where it's at. What you're going to do is you're going to go onto your light blue and you're going to go in through your, which one is it? I forgot which one it is, y'all. Y'all got to remind me, my mouth hit a blank. But you go in and you will go in and go find your name, log in. It's a separate login in light blue, and then you'll be able to put in your location and the bids open for your location will be there. Now, Please, 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 I will tell you guys this because this shit has happened to many, many people. And this has happened to veterans. This ain't just no newbies bidding. Please make sure that you read the description of the bid once you're on the system. Because if you don't read it very well and then make sure that you click the correct bid, what will end up happening is when the bids are awarded, you think, oh, I got that bid. Nah, you clicked on something else and got a whole different bid. So please make sure when you're in the system and you're looking at the bids, line up the job number with the number that's on the printout that they're going to put up on the wall for your craft. And in many cases, your union has a copy of the bids for each different opening. So for each time there's an open section for bidding, there's going to be a handout. If you didn't receive it, go to your union office, knock on the door and say, hey, knock, can I get a copy of the bids for this new cycle? And they will give it to you. So make sure that the number that you want, the particular job, that job number matches up to the one in the system so that you're not bidding on the wrong bid, okay? And then if you want more than one bid, make sure that you specify which bid you want, first choice, second choice. This also makes a big difference because what happens is if the bid that you really, really wanted, you chose it as number 3 and chose these other 2 as 1 and 2. And let's say that when the bids are being awarded, you were senior to one of the other bids and junior to the other one. But the one that you bidded on, that you made number 3, that you were actually senior to. But somebody else bid on that one, and the first choice bid that you wanted, you actually got because you were senior. But you could have got third choice too. You just didn't know it. You would never know because that bid has already been awarded. So please pay attention to how you number your bids. If you want a first choice, second choice, or third choice. And please pay attention to the job number on the bids and read the description. Now, normally after you bid and you bid online and it closes out, they usually wait another week because you're going to get your bid assigned to you and you'll start working the bid at the end of a pay period. And they will come to you or they'll actually print it up on the wall wherever your craft has their major announcements and schedules and all that. It will be on that wall or someone from management will probably tell you, hey, you got that bid, so that you'll know on the next pay period, which always starts on a Saturday, you will begin that bid. So if you have a bid that you're off on Saturday and Sunday and you just got awarded that bid and the week is ending, that means on Saturday when the new pay period starts, you don't work. You're off. Okay? You get it? All right. As long as you get it. So this is for my newbies, but also refresher course for my veterans. You know, even for us mid-timers, that's what I call us, mid-timers. For you to remember and understand how to bid. Some of us will stay in the same bid until they drop dead into place. Some of us will bid 55 million times. I've been in the same bid for 6 years, y'all. Ooh, Lord. Same bid for 6 years. That may not be you. You may want to bid to something else because you're tired of that. You might want to go to another location. And you may just want to bid because you need the times, as I stated. It's up to you. Just don't be a habitual fucking bidder. Every fucking cycle you got to bid on something. And then you have what I call the petty bidders. The petty bidders are the ones who don't want to see other people get bids and know they're super duper senior, so they will bid on shit just for the fuck of it so that nobody else can get it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's 1 or 2 of them at every location, at a plant, at a station, at a substation, at the fucking whatever. They're there because they're so fucking petty. They don't want nobody to have a bid. Don't be one of those, okay? Don't be an extreme bidder, but don't be a petty ass bidder either, okay? All right, so if you have any questions about bids that are opening up in your area, always, if you can't go to in-plant support, if you work at a plant, or someone at your station or your location who handles that, always you can go speak to your union. They always know when the new bidding cycle is. They're supposed to keep in their office a printout of the bids for that cycle. They also keep bids of previous cycles. They have to keep that regardless. But for every new cycle, they will have a copy of the bids. You go get it. So if you're newly converted and you really want to bid because you don't want what the fuck you're in, you don't like it, and you want to bid out, make sure you pay attention to that. If you are a mid-timer like myself and you comfortable with your shit, but you are thinking about bidding out, you know if you ain't in a long time, it's the same damn thing. And also, number one rule from Miss K when you bidding, don't tell no fucking body that you bid. It is not their fucking business, number one. Number two, you got some real devious motherfuckers in the post office who will tell you to your face, oh, Miss, can you bid on that? Girl, I don't want that. I'm good. I'm straight where I'm at. And will turn the fuck around and bid on that bid. And then they end up getting it, and you go, um, Barbara, Shirley, I thought neither one of y'all wanted that fucking bid. How y'all bid on it? So I know it sound ridiculous, but if you work at a PO, you understand what I'm talking about because we got some real petty, underhanded, sneaky, shisty ass motherfuckers who work at the post office. Y'all know. So those are the tips for you to use when you're bidding. And I know it sounds kind of facetious right now with all the crazy shit going on, but we are still technically converting MHAs and PSCs to career employees. And at my particular facility, at my plant, we just converted last week. So I decided to go ahead and give you guys just a little bit of tips and tricks on how to go ahead and bid. Now, it's different if you are a mechanic, custodian, or you are an MVS, which is MVO, motor vehicle operations, or you are a TTO driver. Their bidding cycle is totally different from a mail handler and a clerk, okay? So, like if you are an MVO or a TTO driver, they still have, in many cases, PTFs, and their bids are based on their grade or level 6, level 7. So if you're level 6, you can only bid in level 6. If you're level 7, you're going to bid in level 7. That's how that particular thing works. I know for maintenance, custodian mechanics, they only have a bidding cycle like one motherfucking time a year. Once that shit come open, baby, it's like flies on shit. Their bidding cycle is totally different. So if you are in those particular crafts, you probably already know the game. If you just got into the craft and you haven't learned, let somebody in your craft teach you that you're cool with or find out on your own because their bidding cycle is totally different. At my particular location, they're throwing up bids for MBS TTO drivers, and they're also throwing bids up for maintenance, mechanic, and ETs, which is electronic technicians. And that shit only comes open like full moon and shit. So they throwing up bids on the wall, as we call it, for openings. Now, another tip. If you are a career employee and you're thinking about going into crossing crafts, meaning you don't want to be a mail handler anymore, you're going to be a clerk. You don't want to be a clerk anymore, you're going to be a mail handler. Or specifically, you want to be a mail handler and you want to go into being a custodian or in maintenance, or you want to be, maybe you want to go to be in motor vehicle operations because you got your CDL or your TTO license or whatever, you want to do that. In order to go into those crafts, to cross crafts, to change your craft, you would have to take the test for that particular craft. Now, you might have took that shit 20 years ago. And that's fine, all well and good. Maybe 10 years ago, 5. You have to retake the test. So you would have to retake the test when their stuff comes open, and then you have to go ahead and pass it. I think passing score is over 90, but try to get the highest score as possible, 97, 98, 99, because most people really don't get 100 unless you're a veteran. And then you can apply for that particular position. Same thing if you're a clerk. We have clerks who are actually have crossed over, a couple in my location, who are now mail handlers. They went ahead and took the test and they crossed over and they changed their craft and now they're mail handlers. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, wherever you are, because you're thinking, hey, all this shit going down, being a custodian, baby, looking real motherfucking good right now, shit, because they always need somebody to clean something. Or being an MVO driver, being a TTO driver, that may sound good to you and you may have your license or you might be getting your licenses. And in some particular locations, they are actually willing to train and help you get your license because they may be short of drivers and need drivers. So look into that particular information at your plant. Maybe it's available at your station. And go from there, baby. You know how Miss K do. Miss K always trying to put y'all up on game so y'all always better than you was the day before. Remember that. So always my postal freaks. Love and light. Peace.